20th day of August 2026. So we have about 11 more days to the end of August. So we're buckling up for the ember months. Next month will be September, October, December. September, October, November, and December. So after the month of August, we have 4 more months, to wrap up 2026 here. All right, yes. This Thursday edition, the Breakfast Show, is being sponsored by by Life Back Pharmacy and Stores Limited, marketers of Obama QS Softgel, and as well as Swedish builders here in the country, here in Nigeria. Okay. So what do we do every morning, Monday to Friday on the Breakfast Show? What we do is that we give you analysis of some of the stories making headlines. That morning we also do some analysis, and I also do some political talk here in the studio. Okay, all right. So let's get things started. You can engage with us, all of our content on social media, by going to X, Overt Radio Live, on TikTok, overt.radio, Lagos, and also on Instagram. That is Overt News. We are currently streaming on YouTube, Overt Radio Live. Okay, let's go to some of the stories making headlines in today's newspaper. I have the Sun newspaper with me here, the online version, which says that panic in Osogbo as gunmen attack Adeleke's convoy. Panic in Osogbo as gunmen attack Adeleke's convoy. All right, panic broke out in Osogbo, Osun State, Wednesday, after suspected hoodlums opened fire on the convoy of Governor Ademola Adeleke shortly after his visit to the palace of the Atoja of Osogbo, Obajimo Oyetunji. The attack reportedly triggered an exchange of gunfire lasting between 12 and 15 minutes as security operatives attached to the governor's convoy engaged the assailants and secured his passage. The incident occurred at about 3:15 p.m. shortly after Adeleke had visited the monarch following his receipt of the certificate of return for a second term from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) office in Osogbo. Sources said the governor had met with the Atauja and presented the certificate before receiving the monarch's royal blessings. But David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, described the report as outright falsehoods, saying what occurred was a fight outside the palace that had no link to the governor or his movement. The singer, whose uncle is Governor Adeleke, was direct in his denial on X. Lies, it was a fight outside the palace that had nothing to do with us. The people love excellency, he wrote. Trouble reportedly started as Governor Adeleke and his entourage left the palace through a private exit used by the monarch and members of his family. Eyewitnesses said armed men arrived in a Sienna bus through the Ita Olokan area and allegedly opened fire around the palace. One eyewitness said the assailant damaged and shot at the palace's main gate before security personnel pushed them back. Another eyewitness said the gun battle lasted between 12 and 15 minutes before the governor's security team secured the area and cleared a path for the convoy to leave. The attackers reportedly engaged the convoy again around the Osogbo Central Mosque before fleeing towards Ita Olokon along Osogbo Ilesha Road. The incident caused panic in the area, with traders and residents abandoning their businesses and seeking shelter. Sporadic gunshots were reportedly held in parts of the city later in the afternoon, forcing some businesses to close. Confirming the incidents, Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolakbo Alimi, said the governor and members of his team were safe. They are hoodlums, and the governor's security repelled them. They attacked the governor's convoy at the Attorney's Palace, but no casualties were recorded. Okay, that was from the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Alimi. Yeah, so yes, it is believed that there are a lot of people that were not happy, after INEC declared Governor Ademola Adeleke, as the governor re-elected of Osun State as the winner of that August 15, on Saturday, August 15, 2026 governorship election in Osun State. A lot of people were not happy, particularly those in the opposition parties. I'm not mentioning any party that was not happy. It can be party A, it can be party B. But what happened on Saturday was a lot of disappointment to a lot of people. Particularly those who were not expecting Adeleke to win. So at least within the next few days, weeks, and months, there will be some kind of some kind of reaction. There will be some kind of disappointment. Following the disappointment, people will react, and that is what was reported, or what was witnessed yesterday. What occurred yesterday, rather, is just part of those anger. It's just part of those agitation. That as from the aftermath of the August 15 governorship election. So I want to urge the police not to stop there, but they should investigate whoever was responsible, the people that were responsible for that attack, for attacking the palace after the governor's visit, and also causing mayhem and terror in that community. So it is expected that the police should not stop there. Yes, the attackers or the hoodlums, according to the report, might have escaped, but as one of the primary responsibility of security agencies, it is expected that when criminal activities, when something go wrong in any community, in any society, so that for truth to be reviewed, it is better that police carry out investigation. It can carry out investigation and see whoever is responsible. Such persons or such group of people should be punished, should be brought to the law. Okay, election has been conducted. You don't have the right to start just because you have access to weapon or you have access to arms. Doesn't gives you the right to start causing mayhem, in a society. And this is a governor. A governor visited the monarch in appreciation, to thank the monarch, for the blessing, as a sign of respect. So why are you attacking? Why do you want to cause confusion? So it is one of those things that I used to say, that youth should not be allowed to be used for violence in the country. It doesn't pay. Subjecting yourself, or submitting yourself to be used for violence, before, during, and after election, is not good at all. So Nigerian youth, this is to you, this is for you, because majority of the people that attacked the governor's convoy yesterday were youths. There's no 50-year-old man, no 45-year-old man or 60-year-old woman will pick up arms and start attacking the governor's convoy. It's the youth that will be involved. It's the youth that will be involved. So Nigerian youth, don't allow yourself to be used for electoral violence. Don't allow any political figure, any political party, to use you to cause violence, in any society, in a community. You are bigger than that. So I want to urge the Nigerian police, the police, the Osun State Police Command, to investigate yesterday's incident, so that those who are responsible, will face the full wrath of the law. All right. And also, I would like to say something as well. This is just my own opinion. Yeah. Davido has been in Osun State since last week. So it is expected that after the election, I expect Davido should have left the state since. Yes, you were there to support your uncle, but most of this, your presence, to an extent, might cost be due to the antecedents, due to the way he was, due to his conduct, before, during, and after that election. It might, cause some kind of agitation among people in the opposition. So I want to urge Davido, maybe you should, calm down. Yes, your uncle has been declared winner. So I urge him to do whatever you want to do in Osun State and leave Osun State, because there are a lot of people that are not happy, after that election. A lot of people are not happy after that election, based on the display, the arrogance of some people in the opposition party. There was a video, I saw, on that afternoon, that election day, where I don't want to mention the name of the party, when some party members were saying that, Adeleke, you have to go. Adeleke, it is time for you to go. You are gone. You are done. Things like that. When somebody makes such statement, and after the election, their statement did not hold water, it brings a lot of disappointment, in them, and they will just resort to do anything, to pacify, their anger. So a lot of people in Osun State are angry right now, that they are angry, they didn't like the turnout of that election. A lot of them are angry, and so for safety, for security reasons, I want to urge Davido, to leave Osun State. You've given enough support to your uncle, and no support will be enough. No support will be satisfactory. But now that the election has been concluded, let all parties go back to the drawing board to analyze and strategize for the next election that is coming up. Okay, let your uncle, continue, what he has been doing in Osun State. So, until maybe in the next 90 days, when he'll be sworn in, we can now see you in Osun State. But this is for security reasons. All right, now let's go to the next headline. It is 16 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. You've been listening to Overt Radio. This is the breakfast show here on Overt Radio. We are broadcasting to you live from the city of Lagos. Lagos is a center of excellence, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. You can go to our various social media platforms on X, Overt Radio Live, on Instagram, Overt News, on TikTok, over.radio.lagos, on YouTube, Overt Radio Live, when we are currently streaming. And also you can share that streaming link, our Zeno platform, zeno.fm/radio/Overt Radio, where you'll be able to hear us loud and clear via the internet. Okay, now let's go to the next headline this morning. Yes, 2027, Nigerians must stand up, reclaim power. Utomi, professor of political economy and convener of the big tent and movement of credible election. Nigerians with names. Professor of political economy and convener of the big tent and movement for credible election, Pat Utomi, has urged Nigerians to turn out massively for the 2027 elections, saying citizens must reclaim their power and influence the direction of the country through the ballots. Utomi made the call at a media briefing in Lagos on Wednesday against the backdrop of growing economic hardship and declining public confidence in key democratic institutions. The Independent National Electoral Commission has fixed January 16, 2027 for the presidential and National Assembly elections, while the governorship and the State House and State Assembly polls will hold on February 6. The state of our country is troubling. The pain, the hunger, and the anger in the land is so palpable, he said, warning that widespread poverty was creating conditions that could be exploited through vote buying. Even as power continues to weaponize poverty through the buying of votes of those so hungry, Utomi said. He urged Nigerians to resist electoral manipulation and demand accountability from institutions responsible for protecting democracy, stressing the people must stand up and force compromised institutions to do right or pay a high price. Utomi expressed concern over declining public confidence in the judiciary, the police, EFCC, and INEC, saying our institutions are crumbling while public confidence in the judiciary, the police, and EFCC are at an all-time low. He added, impunity must end in Nigeria if Nigeria is to survive. The political economists disclosed that the Big Tent and MCE were working towards live streaming proceedings from every polling booth during the 2027 elections to improve transparency and reduce electoral malpractice. He said the proposed system would also provide adequate redundancy to guard against technical failures similar to those experienced during the 2023 elections and weaknesses associated with INEC's IREF platform. Utomi also highlighted the severity of Nigeria's economic crisis, citing figures attributed to the International Monetary Fund, which he said showed that 35 million Nigerians were facing food insecurity. He further cited World Bank estimate that about 139 million Nigerians could be living in poverty by the end of 2026. He said the hardship was increasingly affecting Nigerians who had previously been able to support themselves, recounting the growing number of requests for financial assistance he had received. I was beginning to think that I was being targeted because I received like a dozen or more desperate solicitations for money, he said. Utomi said he later discovered that the situation was widespread rather than peculiar to him. Until a few days ago, I realized that I wasn't the only one getting those requests. It was all over the place, he said. He said the development showed how economic hardship was eroding the dignity of Nigerians and normalizing dependence on others for basic needs. So, Nigerians have now lost their dignity, that the shame of begging is nothing but has become a trend, Utomi said. Beautifully and perfectly put, coming there from professor of political economy and convener of the Big Tent and Movement for Credible Election. All right, so yes, Pat Utomi, a respected professor of political economy, one of the vibrant voices, advocating for good governance, good democratic practice, has always been in the forefront for advocating good governance in the country. So I don't know where to come from, but I think I must do justice to this story. Now, this group of people, remember in 2023, there was this thing they called the third force, saying that they're gonna have a coalition that will unseat the APC in 2023, saying that they're gonna win. So what about, my question is, what about the coalition that they clamored for in 2023? Are they still, is the coalition still active? And you are asking Nigerians to stand up and reclaim power. reclaim power from who? Are Nigerians going to start leading themselves? You complain that there's poverty in the land, economic hardship. 139 million Nigerians might be thrown below the poverty line before the end of 2026, and 39 million Nigerians, will face food insecurity. These are the problems that Nigerians are facing or will face. But what alternative do you have? It is those that are in the position of leadership. It is those that are in leadership that will be able to reduce the hardship in the country. So where I'm going is that these were the people that clamored for coalition. Now Atiku Abubakar is in his own tent. Peter Obi is in his own tent. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is with Peter Obi. Rotimi Amechi is with Atiku Abubakar. So we have various interest figures in this country that want Nigerians to be better than what it is. That want Nigerians to be better. They're saying that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has left untold hardship on the people. But you were the people that, insisted that a coalition should be held so that you people can come together, to unseat the administration. But this coalition, this drive that you people are clamoring for, it won't work. I'm sorry to say. A coalition cannot work in this country when Peter Obi is in another party, when Atiku is in another party. It cannot work. So the best thing to rescue Nigeria from this quote and unquote hardship that they've been claiming. I'm not denying the fact that there's no hardship in the country. Okay, I'm not denying the fact that things are expensive. Food items are expensive, just like I analyzed. I think it was on Tuesday, when the NBS released the monthly inflation figure, that food prices, which was about 8% in January, has now climbed up to 20%. So for the current administration, I said this the other day, I'm not a supporter of any political party. I'm not a supporter of any political figure in the country. But these people, the likes of Pat Otomi and other people that have been clamoring, that have been saying that that it is time to stand up and reclaim power, that are not happy with the administration of this, they're not happy with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. For that to happen, you must come out with a strong force. And for that strong force to happen, there must be some people who will step down for the other person. But these people in the opposition, nobody wants to step down for anybody, because they think that they have the best and the better idea on how to move the country forward. Atiku says that he has the formula of transforming the nation. Peter Obi is saying that he has the solution, of providing stable electricity. So who do we want to listen to? If this one says he has a brilliant idea, the other one is saying he has a brilliant idea. Now they don't want to submit to themselves. For you to work as a vibrant opposition party, you must step down for somebody to represent you people. But they don't want to do that. I'm sorry to say, because after 2027, in the next election in 2031, these people will come out again and start saying the same thing. The only political revolution that this country has witnessed was in 2015, when PDP was in power for 16 years. There was a revolution. There was a political revolution. And that was what gave birth to the APC in 2012 and 2013. So, like I said earlier, you must borrow the wisdom, the knowledge, the example of what Tinubu did in 2012, 2013, when a merger was formed, and that gave birth to APC. So there can never be a vibrant opposition when everyone in the opposition, all the key political figures in the opposition are saying that it is my idea that will transform this country. The other one too is saying it is his own idea that will transform this country. So if we have like 5 persons in the opposition and they so desperately want to transform this country, it will not work until the 5 of you or the 3 of you or the 2 of you or the 4 of you come together. Okay, come together and make a united front. Then can we have a vibrant opposition? If you so if you so strongly desire to unseat this administration in 2027. So the presidential election is January 16, and also the governorship election is February 6 next year. But time has gone already. Time has gone. All right. So it is a good thing that Pat Utomi has been able to highlight what is going on in the country, but there is no solution to what you want to do. There is no step. What step are you providing? How can Nigeria stand up to reclaim their power? Yes, because it is the people that are in the ballot that they will vote for. So I want to urge the various political party in the opposition. I mean, the 2027 general elections campaign has kick-started because the timetable officially started yesterday. So I am expecting aggressive campaign from these people in the opposition. If there's so much want to unseat the president, the incumbent, start aggressive campaign now. Let's go to the next headline. It's 31 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. FG moves to put EFCC recovered properties to productive use. The federal government has moved to strengthen the management and utilization of properties recovered through corruption cases, as President Bola Tinubu directed closer coordination among agencies responsible for forfeited assets. Tinubu gave the indication yesterday when he met with the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Olanipekun Olukoyede, and the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Mutaka Rabi Dama, at the State House, Abuja. The meeting focused on the proper management, development, and possible disposal of houses, land, and other landed assets forfeited to the federal government through EFCC investigations and court orders. The development comes amid the growing volume of recovered properties and the need to ensure that such assets are preserved, properly documented, and ultimately put to productive use for the benefit of Nigerians. The president, according to the focus of the meeting, stressed the importance of transparency and accountability in the administration of forfeited assets, as his administration seeks to ensure that recoveries from anti-corruption efforts translate into tangible benefit for the public. A major example in the 753 units housing estate in Lukugoma, Abuja, which was transferred from the EFCC to the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, located at plot 109. Okay, now, so the federal government, okay, all right, so okay, let me take this particular portion. The EFCC property portfolio has also expanded through cases involving former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, his associate, family, and members. In January, a court granted an interim forfeiture of an interim forfeiture order covering 57 properties estimated at about 213 billion naira. By July, 48 of the properties valued at approximately 180 billion had been finally forfeited, while 9 were released. The properties located. So the federal government has said that, has decided that some of the properties seized from corruption cases, from corruption cases, should be put to productive use. So the government can decide to sell it to private individuals. The government can decide to auction these properties. And also yesterday, another version of this story, the meeting that they had with the president, saying that some of the looted funds from corruption cases, that looted funds should be channeled to student loan scheme. That's a NEL fund. So it's a welcome development that but the most important thing is what will be the transparency. All right, we hope that most of these properties that will be put to productive use will not at the end of the day end up in the hands of government officials, will not at the end of the day end up in the hands of powerful politicians that are in the APC, because this is what happens when things like this go on. So the most important thing is not you saying that the properties recovered from corruption cases should be put to productive use. Yes, we understand that most of these properties will be auctioned. Most of these properties will be sold to private individuals. But at the same time, we are demanding for transparency. Okay? When you want to put, or when whatever they want to do with these properties, I'm just saying that this is what happens, because in the country, when goods are seized, when contraband goods are seized by custom, at the end of the day, the custom will come out to auction most of these goods to private individuals. So that's what I think will happen. So most of these properties that will be put to productive use, although no details were given on how the properties will be put to productive use, but it is expected. This is my thinking. This is my understanding. It is expected that most of these properties will be auctioned. And what I'm saying is that there should be some level of transparency, accountability when this thing will be given out to the public, So there should be some level of transparency. It should not end up. It should go to the right people. That is what I'm saying. It should not end up in the hands of some powerful individuals that are connected to the presidency, that are connected to senators, that are connected to governors or whatever. Okay, it should go to the people that need it the most. That is what I'm trying to say here. Okay, now let's go to the next headline. 36 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. This is the Thursday edition of Overt Radio Breakfast Show. It is being sponsored by Lifebag Pharmacy and Stores Limited, marketers of Ogama QS Softgel and Swedish Bitters. Allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states, Oyedele. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, has said federal allocations alone cannot guarantee prosperity for states, urging them to develop sustainable sources of revenue and drive economic growth. He also said Nigeria recorded estimated savings of 15.8 trillion from the removal of fuel subsidy and the liberalization of the foreign exchange market between June 2023 and December 2025, but insisted that the reforms did not leave the federal government with a huge pool of cash as widely believed. I'm not sure I get what you said. Okay, let me take that paragraph again. This is coming from the Sun newspaper, right? He said Nigeria recorded estimated savings of 15.8 trillion from the removal of fuel subsidy, okay, and the liberalization of foreign exchange market between June 2023 and December 2025, but insisted that the reforms did not leave the federal government with huge pool of cash as widely believed. So what are you saying? I don't understand. 15.8 trillion was realized, okay, from removal of fuel subsidy All right, and the liberalization of foreign exchange market. But you are saying that despite the money that was saved from fuel subsidy, it did not leave the federal government with a huge pool of cash as widely believed. How? Okay, understood. So what did you do with the savings, either from the subsidy removal or from the liberalization of foreign exchange market? What did you do? Let me continue with the story. The minister equally said the federal government's wage bill was much more than that savings received from subsidy. Okay, even as he insisted that the reforms of the federal government has helped to reduce borrowing burden. Speaking at the 2026 National Council of Finance and Economic Development conference in Owerri, Imo State yesterday, Oyedele stressed the need for states to look beyond federal allocations and develop their productive capacity to achieve sustainable economic development. He called for stronger fiscal federalism, improved revenue generation, and economic diversification to strengthen Nigeria's resilience to economic shocks. Nigeria must move from an allocation-dependent economy to one driven by production, investment, and job creation, he stated. According to him, recent economic reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidy and the unification of the foreign exchange market, have increased tremendously the revenue available for distribution through the federation account. He said monthly federation account allocation, which was between 300 billion and 600 billion before 2023, is now above 2 trillion. Okay, thank you, we've heard you. Okay, yes, you have advised the governors. Now, to achieve this, I want to advise that the president should call all the 36 states of the federation, have a meeting with them. Okay, have a meeting with these governors, because the FG, the federal government, has done what is expected of them to do. They are not owing any states. Now, the problem now, the federal government is now pushing the problem to the state governors, to the state government. Now it is now the duty of the state governments, now that federal allocation has increased between 300 and 600 billion before 2023, it has now increased to above 2 trillion. Now, the state governors or the state governments do not have, are not supposed to be complaining whether they can pay salary or not. Because as shown here in the report and in their monthly federal allocation, state governments are now receiving more than what they've been receiving before. State governments are now receiving more allocation than what they've been receiving before. And despite that, the Minister of Finance has urged these governors that they should not depend on this monthly allocation alone. That they should think outside the box on how to start generating monies for themselves. Despite the fact that what the state governors are collecting have now doubled, have now increased, but it will never still be enough. So the president, I want to advise you, Your Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want to urge that at least if it is quarterly, you meet with these state governors, telling them the need for them to start to use the monies that they are receiving on a monthly basis, to use it judiciously, particularly improving the life of the people in their states, providing affordable healthcare facilities, education, workers' welfare, creation of jobs, education, workers' welfare, health, job creation. These are the key things, and also infrastructure. These are the key things that when it is being addressed, when they are addressed, there will not be this agitation for poverty or whatever. The governors need to understand this, that it is their duty. They are governors. It is their duty to ensure the welfare of their people. It is the duty of the governors to make sure that the primary health centers in their states, in their local governments, are up to standard. That health care services are affordable and are accessed by the people. And also the local government chairman too, now that they are now receiving allocations on a monthly basis directly from the state, from the federal government. With one beautiful thing about the administration of this, about the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is that he has made sure that state governors do not complain that they can't pay salaries, and also he has made sure that funds that are supposed to go to local government areas are directly coming from the federal government. Unlike before, the federal government will release the local government fund to the state governors. Then after the state governors receive that, the state governors will now start disbursing funds to local government areas. And of course, before maybe a particular state can receive like 6 billion for the local government areas, and before it gets to, maybe before that, they must have slashed it by 4 billion or 5 billion or 3 billion. But now state governors, local government chairman should not have excuse, should not give excuse for not doing what is expected of them to do in their respective territories. State governors, local government chairmen should not complain that they can't pay workers' salaries in their territories. So the president should at least have meetings with these state governors and ask them, make it a mandate that you must start doing things with this money we are giving you. We must start seeing the results. We must start seeing the result. It should be telling them we must start seeing the result of this money that you are receiving monthly. Let's go to the next headline. The fifth story this morning: UNICEF begs FG to rescue Borno's 78 abducted school children. There are still school children that are still in kidnappers' den. The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, has called on the Borno state and the federal government to intensify their efforts to rescue 78 school children abducted in Musa and Lassa communities in Askira, Uba local government area of the state. When was that? I hope it's here. UNICEF's deputy representatives in Nigeria, Dr. Raunak Khan, made the call on Wednesday while responding to questions during a media briefing with the United Nations humanitarian coordinator and other heads of agencies to commemorate the 2025 World Health Humanitarian Day in Maiduguri. Khan said UNICEF was concerned about the spate of child abductions in Borno and Nigeria, urging authorities to ensure the safe return of all the abducted children to their parents and guardians. She described schools as safe places where children should be able to learn and grow in their communities. She said, "We are worried about the abduction of children, not only in Borno State, but in Nigeria at large. Schools should be a safe place for them. They come here to learn, and grow themselves, Khan said UNICEF had been working with Borno state government to ensure that safe school protocols were implemented. She added that it is a complex issue which is related to the overall security situation in the country. We are advocating for all the partners involved and joining voices to release these children. So the state governor of in that state, Babangana Zulum, in Borno State. So the UNICEF has called you that the 78 abducted school children, they should be released. On no circumstance government haven't received report that some people were abducted in their state and within 24 hours. This is Kogi State, and within 24 hours these people that were abducted in Kogi State were released. That means it is possible. People that were abducted should not spend weeks, days, months in kidnappers' den. So the state governor of Borno, it is your duty, yes, in collaboration with the federal government and other security agencies, it is the duty of the state governor, because this thing happened in your state. This thing happens during your administration. This abduction, this kidnapping happened in your state. So I don't know why they are keeping silent. What is the plan of these people to make sure that these 78 abducted school children are released? If you are to be a family, if you are to be a relative of one of the government officials, would they wait this long? I remember when the sister of the former minister of power, Adebayo Adelabu, when his sister was abducted alongside her two children, within 72 hours or so, these people were released from the kidnappers. Then the police went in, carried out their investigation, and moved in and got them released, got them rescued. So what is delaying the state governor, although in the report it wasn't stated when they were abducted? I'm sure this must have been a recent abduction. No matter how recent it is, no school children should be exposed to danger. No school children in this country should be exposed to violence. No school children in this country should be exposed to kidnapping or abduction, because so much has been given to these state governors to do what is necessary for them. These state governors, they receive a huge amount of money on a monthly basis. They should be able to revamp the security architecture in their states. Because the other day I was saying that we should move beyond rescuing kidnapped victims in this country based on how advanced things are in the world. I think it is high time the Senate or because that is why it is always good to have vibrant legislators in your states. Because this idea that maybe in a state, the House of Assembly in that state, maybe there are maybe 25 or 30 House of Assembly in that state, and more than half of these people are in the governor's party. So where is the vibrancy of democracy in that state? I think by now the lawmakers in that state ought to have invited the governor. The lawmakers in that state ought to have invited the various security agencies. What are they doing? The lawmakers in Borno State, what are they doing? That 78 abducted school children are still are still being adopted, are yet to be released, are yet to regain their freedom. What are they doing? The senators in Borno State, what is it doing? The lawmakers in the states, the security agencies, the police, the commissioner of police in Borno State, what are they doing? that 78 abducted school children are yet to regain their freedom. We need to start asking our leaders some serious questions. And next year, the man will leave office. I pray he doesn't leave office and the 78 school children are still in captivity. I pray so. I pray he doesn't leave office. That when he's leaving, he will not be able to make sure that the 78 abducted school children regain their freedom. This is a shame. This is a shame, and also it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace that 78 abducted school children are yet to regain their freedom. School children. These are not adults. School children who can't defend themselves. School children who are armless. Maybe between the ages of 7 to 15 or 12. And it's a good thing that the UNICEF has spoken, begging the state government and the federal government to rescue the 78 abducted school children in Borno. They were abducted in Musa and Lassa communities in Askira and Uba local government area of the state. I hope I can quickly, check when they were abducted. All right, Lagos. That is how far I can go this morning on the newspaper review and headline review here on Overt Radio 9:15. I will be back to talk about something in the political update where I'll be looking at what Ayo Fayoshi said. I think also this gentleman, Yeson Wike, did still made mention of something peculiar to what Ayo Fayoshi said, that Tinubu, if Tinubu wanted to rig the Osun State election, something like that, he would have done it. What kind of statement is that? So that is what I'll be talking about this morning. Don't go anywhere. 9:15, I'll be back. Stay tuned.